This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so first of all, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance. Yeah, walaikum assalam. So I didn't get a chance to look at that the submission that you have made. So uh, walaikum assalam. So I will try to give you the feedback by Thursday or Friday. Today is Thursday. Sorry, I will try to give you the feedback by Friday. And let me go back to the place that we were learning. Thank you. Thank you. So I think we already got an idea about the agile, like how this agile works, what is the agile methodology, and what is agile Scrum, what are the meetings we have to attend in agile. So do you have any question here about anything about the agile, or anything that you didn't understand from the previous session?
So basically, for agile, last session, last couple of slides, there were like too much information. Not all of them. I mean, not understanding, but do we really have to remember all those? So that was my
Uh,
thing. Like basically, yeah. So last couple of uh, slides, so it had a
mm,
lot of information to remember. So mostly, I mean, so that's what my question is that for agile, what are the things that's more important that we need to remember? We could be asked
in
questions. Mhm.
In Agile, you just need to understand how this Agile works. What are the meetings you have to attend, and what is your like role in Agile?
Right. Okay.
So I can understand that. Like in the previous session, we only work on Agile, and there are like a lot of slides I covered on that, like on Agile only.
Yeah, if
So,
you go further down, there are a couple of slides that has like some information. So yeah,
something like this.
sprint is good, backlog is good. I know that we have to remember that.
So this is the slide I need to remove.
Yeah,
So
this is one. This one like Scrum
this is
practices,
kind of
like
like confusing slide, so I need to remove that one. So usually, basically, I don't need it.
yeah. So
Basically.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And after that, I don't think that we have anything here. So if you have any question, I think it will be from here. After the sprint review, we have a retrospective,
No,
and
that's
then
good too. We understand that. Yeah,
okay. And this is the example of a sprint retrospective that actually what kind of question we can make in the team.
that's good
And
too. Hmm.
this is the backlog. So usually we have like product backlog and sprint backlog, and we also do some meetings on PI backlog. So PI backlog is you already know that. So product is like whole product.
Hmm.
PI is that the product implementation, which is like every 2 to 3 months we get that any product, right? And some
Right.
output. So that is
Hmm.
PI. And every 2 weeks we have a sprint. So that is why we have this kind of like backlog, three backlogs.
All right. These are good too. No problem.
Okay, so
I mean, so these are the basic things we need to
yeah.
understand and remember, right? Yeah, that's fine then. Okay, got it.
Okay, so after that, we don't need that as well. So I need to work on this slide because some of the slides are really don't necessary. Just it's all added here. Okay, so let's try to understand what is okay, because you don't have any questions, so that's why I'm moving forward to our new topic. So the new topic here is user story. So what is user story? A user story is a task that specifies a requirement which defines what is required by the user. So that is a user story. So for example, as a user, I want my application to log out automatically after 5 minutes of inactivity for security. So this is kind of like story, and based on this story, the developer have to create the task. Okay, so this is the story. This is the main thing that comes from the user in client, the client, the product owner or business analyst. So these are the way it comes, and based on that, the developer will create a task in board. In board means that Jira board, and when they create this one, they basically keep that in a backlog. And when they think that they need to implement that, at the time they bring that to that PI and they work on a specific sprint. You got that? So
We're
let's say,
talking about like the session timeout, right?
yeah, it's kind of like session timeout. Like for example, you log into a bank account. So after like 5 minutes of inactivity, it will log out automatically. That we see like every time. When you don't do anything in that kind of website, which is like financial websites or like sensitive website, information sensitive website, in that kind of website, it automatically log you out automatically after like a certain amount of time, like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So it depends. So user wants this kind of feature, and that's why user created this story here. So once it's created the story, then the storyboard is come to the product backlog. Once it's in the product backlog, then the developer will take that backlog, that is task story, and then if they want to make it multiple tasks, let's say that it's a very complex or it's a very it's not an easy task to do. It's not a like a one task to complete this one. So what they need to do, they have to create multiple tasks based on this story. They can do that. So let's say it's not a like sign out, it's a sign in. So in sign in, how we do that? Like for the sign in, the what is the basic things we need? The user should have like a valid username and password for the login. There will be a login. There will be like a username text box. There will be like a password text box. There will be a sign in button. So these are the basic things that you need to do that, like complete that story. But let's say that you want to add more feature on that login, like forget username, forget password, something like that. So these are like extra, right? Or two-step authentication. So this kind of thing, the developer will not like create only one task. They will create multiple tasks for that. So one task is to log into the system. Another task is to forget the username. Another task is to forget password. Another task is for two-step verification. So for the same, just only one story, log into the system securely. Let's say that my story is log into the system securely. Then the developer have to think about that story and come up with some possible ideas, and then that developer need to create the task. Okay, developer need to create the task, and based on the task they have to work. So it can be they can complete that in one sprint, or they might take multiple sprint, they might take multiple release. So it depends. Okay, so this is one story, but it's not like only one story means that they will work on only one task. They can create multiple tasks based on one story. And in Jira board, we call this one as epic. Epic means that the main story from where you can create multiple story or multiple tasks. Okay, and Jira board is look like this. Something is here in to do. When you are ready to work on this one, like let's say this is my row, and in this row I have 3 items. Now I'm ready to work on red item. So I will take that one and move that to in progress. So until I finish, I will keep that to in progress. When I'm done, then I will keep that to testing if I'm a developer. Then I will put that to testing. Then the tester will come here and check if there is anything, any task is here in the testing board or not, testing column or not. If something is there, then the testers have to test that task. Once they are done with the testing and there is no issue, then they will put that in done. So this is also an example of Epic. So this one, let me go back to the previous one. This is also an example of Epic from the same thing. Not this one. The example that I gave you for the sign in. For the same thing, I can create multiple tasks. So that is an Epic. Let me check if I can show you here in the board. Create. You see here, Epic. So I can create an epic here, and then I can link my task or story with that epic. I can do that. Let me check. I have it here. Linked issue, blocks, not blocks, relates to select issue. So what is my epic? So I can select it from here, from this list. Okay, if I have anything open, I can select that and it will come automatically here, and then it will link with that epic. I'll give you more idea about this Jira board because you need to work on this Jira board because in main projects, most of the project they are using Jira. So you have to have some familiarity with the Jira, that how can we work in Jira, how can we drag and drop, how can we write our test cases here. So we'll do that. Okay. Okay, so this is usually we call this a story, user story, and in Jira board we call that, sometimes we also call that as epic. Okay. Again, backlog. So the backlog is the place where your user story is there. When they're creating something, it's in your backlog. That's why I keep this backlog slide again here. Okay. So until that point, we're done with this. I think so. Yeah. We're done with that, all of these SDLC and the story and the task, but still we'll do some practice on in Jira. From here, you need to understand the testing, different kind of testing you are going to perform. Okay, so as a tester, you will do some testing. So there are like different testing that we do, that we perform in a project. So not only like you will just perform functional testing. So what is functional testing, what is non-functional, we will come to that point. But usually we perform some kind of testing, and you need to know all these kind of, at least you have to know the name of the testing at least. But if you understand that how this testing work, how you can you will perform the testing, then it will be great. Okay, so first of all, functional testing and non-functional testing. So we need to understand between these two, because these are the two major things that we do in our testing. So functional testing is basically that usually we do when you go to that any website, when you go to that for example this website, and when you are clicking on like let's say that you are in a home page, and in a home page and you are clicking on dresses here. So when you click on dresses, so it's coming some it's loading a page, and then it's showing some items, right? It's showing some products. So that's mean that this is my expected. When I will click on dresses, it's supposed to show me these 5 items here. So which is the functionality of this page, right? With this button, when you click on these dresses and it goes to the page, it's a functionality of this link or this button, the dresses, right? So that is why how we do the functional testing. Whatever you can perform in the website, in the page, that is kind of like performance test, functional testing. And something that is related but that you cannot do in the pages is non-functional testing. For example, like security testing. You want to make a payment here in this website. You have to check, as a tester, you have to check if your payment gateway is secured or not. Or let's say that you are using very first internet, but this page takes like almost a minute to load. So you have to check that. So why it's taking that long? Is it kind of like your server issue, that your server is not responding? The place where your application is not responding correctly. So that is like performance testing that we perform. So these are the testing that we do under non-functional testing. And under functional testing, we check the functionality of the page, or functionality of the button, or the text box, or the link. So this is functional testing.
So we can say that like the design and the structure, we can say this comes under functional testing, and how the performance, is it working fast or slow, these types of things we can say non-functional.
Yeah, that is kind of, but let me give you the idea here. So in the next slide, we have this one. So who is doing functional testing? So as a QA tester, you are doing that performance testing. And what is comes, let's check it from here. A piece of software is acting in agreement with predetermined requirements or within the requirements. So you have to check that if that functionality fulfill the requirement or not. Let's say that if I say here, if I say that when you are in home page and when you click on dresses, it's supposed to come to this page. But when you click on dresses, it's going to the t-shirts page. So it's not acting as like a requirement. It's not acting like the functionality of this link is not working, right? So that's why we have to check that functionality. We have to perform the functional testing. So functional testing is only concerned with validating if a system works planned. That means that whatever the requirement is there, you have to follow the requirement. If the requirement says it needs to go to that specific page, you have to go to that page and check if that page is showing or not. Exactly like saying this way. If you are clicking on t-shirt, it's supposed to be here in this t-shirt page. If you click on dresses, it's supposed to be in dresses page. Okay. Now, functional testing done by manual tester and automation tester both, because if they don't have any automation yet, so the manual tester is performing that. And then if they are doing the automation, then automation testers are writing code to make sure that this functionality is working fine. Okay, so functional testing is performed by both manual tester and automation tester. Now, the non-functional testing. Non-functional testing must figure out if the software product will provide an excellent user experience, like if it is fast or not, if it's able to take that load or not, something like that. So it tests the application based on the client and performance security requirements. See that security requirements. Testing is done by performance security testing people. So usually the tester, the QA tester, doesn't perform this non-functional testing. Sometimes they might ask, they might have a requirement like, okay, so whoever is also have experience on the performance testing, they will they can also they also have to perform this kind of testing, and they sometimes add this requirement in that requirement. So it's fine if you don't know that. Okay, it's absolutely fine if you don't know that, because not all the requirements you will see that they are asking for performance testing or security testing. Definitely not will ask you, but sometimes they ask performance testing because they want to make sure that if that application is capable to handle the load, like for example, if Amazon.com, like in last session I was trying to go to that Amazon.com and it was not loading the page. So there is like something like loading issue, like load performance issue from the Amazon.com. So they might have tested for 100,000 users. They might have tested, but at the same time, most probably 150,000 users hit at the same time, and that's why that kind of thing happened. So this is possible, and that is why they need to do that kind of testing, like load testing, stress testing. So that all kind of testing comes under performance testing. Okay. So just we understood here only two kind of testing, that is functional testing and non-functional testing. Under functional testing, we have different kinds of testing, but this is the main header, like functional testing, where you have to mostly focus on. So under the functional testing, we have different kinds of testing, and under the non-functional, we have like performance, security, and this kind of testing. So we will not go to this part. We'll go to functional testing part. So in functional testing, we have unit testing. Mostly it is done by the developers, but now we also, as a tester, we can also perform this testing. So for this one, you will get the idea how to do that after like a starting of automation, after a couple of weeks after when we start the automation class. Smoke testing, we'll learn that here. And integration testing. So this all the testing I will go through each and every one in our remaining slides. Okay, so we'll go through it each and every testing, and we need to understand that what are these testings are, because in the interview they might ask you, so what is smoke testing, what is sanity testing, what is the difference between smoke and sanity testing, what is system testing, what is user acceptance testing. So they ask this kind of question, even though you are like you will be applying as like automation tester, but they ask this kind of question. Okay, so these are the functional testing that you have to perform, and these are the non-functional testing that we will not go for. Okay, we are a functional tester. We have to check the functionality of the page. Okay, do you have any question about the functional and non-functional? No questions. Okay, so if we don't have any question, let's move forward to the next slide. Here is the functional testing, and the first thing here is unit testing. Unit testing is basically testing the very small part of your code. When you write the code, we have to perform the unit testing. Usually developer perform that unit testing, and then they hand over to us to perform all kind of other testing. But we can also perform this kind of testing. Now, what is unit testing? So let's say, again, let's go back to this login functionality. You see here, to log in to the system, I need to enter a valid email address, valid password, then I have to click on sign in button. So here I have to handle 3 items, right? Here I have to handle 3 items or 3 elements. So what unit testing is, unit testing will check if the text box is there or not, or if the text box is working or not. That is a single piece of testing, single code of testing that we have to perform. For password, the same thing. Small piece of code we have to perform, and that is unit testing. Okay, so and what it says, unit testing ensures that each part of the code developed in a component delivers the desired output. So let's say that you are here, you are trying to insert a username, but it's not able to take the username. The text box is not working. So you have to perform the testing. So that is a unit testing that you are performing, the very basic and small component. So that is unit testing. Then in unit testing, developers only look at the interface and the specification for a component. So what the developers, why I say that the developer performs this unit testing, because they will create this text box, they will create this text box, and they will just create this button, and they will insert any username and password and just click on sign in, and that's done from their side. So they are just checking if that the email address is taking or not, the password is taking or not, and the sign in button is working or not. Once the sign in button click, the user should be in a user home page. So they are just checking it by each and every element here, the text box, two text box, and sign in button here. So that is unit testing. Got it? So how many units we have here to log into the system?
We have 2 units over here.
3 units.
Username is 1, password is 2, then we have to click on sign in, so it should be 3.
Okay, it's 3. Yeah, that's correct. Now for the create an account, how many are there?
1.
There is a 2. We have to type on the box in the email, and second one is we have to click on the create an account.
Yes, that is correct. And the people who said 1, the reason is here you have a text box, and when you are inserting an email address and click on create an account, it's taking you to the register page. So you are performing 2 things here. One is inserting an email address, another is clicking on this create an account. Let's say that I don't have this part. You see that? It's not taking me to that next page. So it's trying to validate that if it is able to take that email address or not, valid email address. Like it's fine. Like if you say that it.com, it's fine. There is no issue here. But at least it's checking that are you inserting at the rate sign? Are you inserting like any domain name like IT or Gmail or Yahoo and then .com or something like after the dot. So it's checking, right? So that is the something like it's performing, and that is doing unit testing. Got it? Okay, so let's move forward to this smoke testing. This is like a very important thing, smoke testing, because you will be performing this smoke testing in the project like almost every sprint, or if you are not performing this sprint, like if after each and like end of each sprint, then you definitely have to perform before the release. So before the release, usually we have to perform smoke testing, sanity testing, and regression testing. I will come to that thing later because I already have the slides here. But these are the 3 testing that we have to have performed. Okay, so you have to know these 3 testing. First of all, smoke testing. Smoke testing. In smoke testing, the test cases chosen cover the most important functionality or component of the system. Okay, just try to understand here. Okay, it says that most important functionality. Okay, most important functionality. Now let's go and check here. So this is amazon.com. Now you have to type only to me. You have to send that answer only to me. Just name one of the major functionality, that the functionality that is most important functionality. Here in this Amazon.com. Okay, so just send me in privately to me only in the chat box. Yes, Afrin, that is correct. Not all, but I'll get that one to you, no problem. Search box. Yeah, that is kind of sign in. That is also, yep, that is also important, most important. Anyone else? Yeah, that is also correct. Yeah, that is also an important functionality. Okay, I think you got the idea. So the most important functionality of any page is, first of all, this page need to load. Okay, so this is kind of like a other thing, but also I'm
The
considering that.
URL works properly or not, like www.amazon.com.
Yes. So first of all, the Amazon.com is loading or not, or is available or not. Second thing that I have to perform is if the login functionality or the card, you can say the card, because why I say the card? You can order product without logging to that Amazon.com. Am I right? Yes. Yes. So that is the reason I will say in Amazon.com, cart is the most important item here, because if you have any product, you can add that product to your cart, and then once you are adding that cart, then you, if you are able to, then you can able to check out without login, without searching. Like that is also like search login functionality, that is also major functionality. But I would say this also, the cart is also a major functionality. Then login is definitely, because without the login to the system, I'm not feeling secure to like make any order from Amazon.com, right? Or I will not be doing that without signing to the system. Otherwise, I have to insert my credit card again, I have to insert my address again. So instead of doing that, why shouldn't I just log into the system and it's already saved there? I just need to pick a product and then add it to the card and just buy the product, right? So it will be very easy if I have this login functionality working fine. And that is why this is one of the most important functionality of this Amazon.com. And if this login functionality is not working, that means that the Amazon will lose customer. So they have to make sure that this login functionality is working fine. Then the search functionality is also a most important functionality, because I don't want to go to that specific product. I don't want to search, like go to the product page and then search one by one page to find my specific product. This search should work so that I can specify my search, specify my product, and then I will add that to the cart. So this is also a very important functionality. So you got the idea what are the major and or most important functionalities are. So these are functionalities that you are going to test. This is a smoke test. Like this picture is not showing, which is fine. Instead of this picture, they can use some other picture, right? So they can do that. But without these functionalities working, they will not go to the production. They will not release for this one to the public. You got it? So these are the major functionality or the most important functionalities that we have to test, and that is called smoke testing. You got the idea? Any question here about the smoke testing? No question. That is awesome. Okay. So if you just try to, if you don't understand, which is also fine, if you just try to remember that what we did just now, that understand the functionality, major functionality that you have to perform, the testing you have to perform, that is smoke testing. And if you try to see this flowchart, this is we call flowchart. In this flowchart, what we have here is starting from here, sent to development team, development have doing that work, then they are performing the smoke testing. So what they're doing, they are checking the major functionality. If the major functionality fail, if you find any issue in the major functionality, then they will reject it. They will reject the bill and they will perform this testing, the development again. You see that the arrow, they will go back to the development again and they will do that. They will fix that, then they will pass it to here, and then you have to perform the smoke testing again. If it is failed, then it will go back again. If it is not, if it is passed, then it will go down and do the bill accepted, and then bill passed for functional testing. Okay, so if it's fine if you don't understand, if you don't remember this flowchart, if you just understand why we need to perform the smoke testing. Okay, then integration testing. This is kind of like important as well. Why I say that? Let's say that here integration, let me show you here. So this is a page, right? This is my home page, and once I click on sign in, it's going to that sign in page, right? Now this sign in page you can access from anywhere. You see that now I'm here in contact us page. Now if you click on back to this sign in, it will take you to that sign in page again, right? So if you understand, this is a one module. Module will give you some okay, not with this one. Let me give you the example here. If you remember that I already mentioned to you that each and every tab have a product owner, right? In Amazon, each and every tab have a product owner because one product owner owns this bestseller, one Amazon Basic, another one Today's Deals, something like that. So each and every product owner have these products. Now they have to find out from any of this product, are you able to go back to that the another product or not? Okay, so let me try to click on this Amazon Basics. Once you click on this Amazon Basics, now here you have to find that are you able to go back to that bestseller or not? Okay. Now also if you are here in any of the page and if you click on this product, are you able to go to that specific product or not? Let's say about is it still Amazon Prime Day? Okay, so let's say that this is a Amazon Basics, right? The garage. You can also see this product from the garage or from directly if you just type something here, like let's say that hand side spinner black, or let me get something very simple, coat hook. Okay, let me get this coat hook here. Okay. Okay, I need to copy that. So this coat hook should be accessible in different places, from different places. So this is the one place that where you can access from the Amazon Basics. But when you are here in the Amazon.com, in the Amazon.com homepage, and it's all here. If you see, now I'm searching in all departments. Now click on search. That item also should be here, right? So you will be able to access the same item from different places. Okay, and also this products is a different thing, is a different part, and the card is a different item. Like different item means that the different module or different functionality, right? Once you add any of the product to your cart, then if you go to your cart, you will be able to either buy that product or you can remove the product from the cart. So cart is a different functionality. Now if you are checking multiple functionalities together, then we call that as integration testing, if that multiple things are working together or not. Okay, so let's check this one now. Integration testing is performed to test individual components to check how they function together. Okay, so if you're trying to add a product in a cart, now when you go to that cart, you're supposed to see that product in the cart. So that is kind of like integration testing between that product and the cart. So in other words, it is performed to test the modules which are working fine individually and do not show bugs when integrated. So when you are seeing this product, which is showing fine, but when you add that product in a cart, for some reason it added a different product or it added with a different price. So it's not working properly, right? So if I add this product, this is 2190. If I add this product to this cart, in my cart it's supposed to show me 2190, but for some reason it's showing me 42 or something, $42, which is wrong, right? Which is not correct. And that is why we have to perform this integration testing, if this cart is integrating with the product or not. You got the idea? So you are checking the products, or if you are checking the cart individually, which is fine, but you also have to perform the multiple thing together. That's why we have to perform this integration testing. It is the most common functional testing type and performed as automation testing or manual testing. In some projects, they make few different projects. I have something change here. Okay, they make few different projects and then add them to one project. Okay, which require tester to do testing just to make sure all projects are working and integrating at the same time. So here you need to understand this part here. Can anyone tell me that if Amazon is linked with something else, some other company? Anyone?
What happened with Amazon? They are linked up with some others company.
Yes. Do you know anything about that? Like, they do have merged together and working together? Let's say.
Yes, the Whole Foods have the Amazon Prime like a fresh food delivery option, and uh, uh, some others ebook company. They also like attached with the Amazon like Audible.
Okay. So you mean this one, right? So let's check this one. So I'm here in the Amazon.com. If you see, I'm here in the Amazon.com. Now, if I click on this, let's say IMDb. IMDb is not an Amazon, right? It's not something from Amazon. Let's check with this IMDb here. So when you click on this IMDb, it's taking you to that IMDb website. Okay. Now what happened? They have merged together. Let's say the IMDb and Amazon is working together. Now, as a tester, you have to perform this. Are they working together like as expected? When you click on this IMDb, then it's supposed to take you the IMDb page. Got it? So you are checking that these two applications is integrating properly or not, is working together or not. Any question here? Let's talk about the Apple. So Apple is a big company, right? But you can see in Amazon, they also have a store called Apple, and they sell product in Amazon as well. You see, this is Amazon Apple product page, and you can buy the product directly from Apple here, from Amazon. So they integrated together. Now you have to find out, are they have the same thing like what they have in their page? Like in Amazon, I can see it's $89, $89.99. What about like I want to see that in Apple they have the same price or not. So you are performing some kind of like testing in two different applications, but they are working together. So you are doing integration testing. You got the idea? Any question here? Okay, sanity testing. So next two testings, you might take some time to understand. I'll do one thing today. I will try to finish it early. Let's not take a break today. I'm sorry for that. I'm not feeling good, so let's not take a break today. But I will try to finish that early so that we'll try to cover that within that time. Okay. So let's not take a break today.
Sure, brother. You need to take rest.
Thank you. No, actually, I'm not feeling good from morning, so that's fine. Okay, so let's try to do that here, the sanity testing. So what is sanity testing? Sanity testing is something like here you find some issue. Here you find some issue in some other the test that some of the tasks that developer have created done. The development is done, and then you tested that. When you tested that, there'll be like two things. One is you tested that, you find an issue, then the developer have to work on that again, and then you have to test that again. So that is also falls under sanity testing. So when a new build is received with a minor modification, instead of running with a regression, I will come to that point later. Test suite, we perform a sanity test. Sanity test is to basically we say that to perform the basic testing to check if that functionality is working or not. So smoke testing is for major functionality or the most important functionality you have to test. And the sanity testing is something like the developer created something and you have to test it. So you are performing sanity testing. Or you created any defect or bug before and the developer worked on that, you have to test that. So that is also sanity testing. So it determines that the modification have actually fixed the issues and no further issues have been introduced by the fixes. So you find that issue before or in the same sprint and the developer fix that issue. Now you tested that one. So that is the testing. After that you are performing is a sanity testing. Okay. So now how it works, the smoke testing and sanity testing. So this is like build is kind of like after each and every 2 or 3 months that we already know that we have a build. So that's the thing that we say here, build 1, build 2, build 3, build 21, 22, 23. So what is smoke testing is? Smoke testing is to perform the major functionality of your application, and sanity test the perform the new functionalities, the testing to perform the new functionalities only, or if there is any bug fix. If that is passed, if both of them, the smoke testing and sanity testing is passed, then we only go for the regression test. And why is that? Because regression test is basically whatever you did before, all the tests, like 100, 200 test cases you have before. You are performing all the test case again to check if any of the new functionality is breaking your old functionality or not. So that is why we have to perform the regression testing. So I will come back to this sanity testing later again, because I think it is not clear to you, but let me cover this regression testing first. Okay. So the regression testing is, let's say you are here in sprint 1 and you have to test only one functionality. So you are performing that. So what kind of functionality testing is that? In sprint 1, what kind of functionality you are performing? Anyone? What kind of testing we are performing here in sprint 1? It's a new functionality, new something new. It's something new. It's something just developed and you have to test.
We have to check the unit test first.
Yeah, you need test first, but let's talk about
Functionality.
smoke and sanity. So which testing you are going to perform here?
Smoke test.
Okay. Any other person? Okay, let's go back to the previous slide. If you check here, sanity testing verifies the new functionalities. So whatever the new functionalities come, the first time we perform the testing, or if you find any issue and the developer fix that issue and you have to test that again, that's also falls under sanity testing. So the new functionalities come, that falls under sanity testing. Got it?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Now let's go back to this picture again. So how many new functionalities coming here in sprint 1?
One.
One.
Only one. And which testing we have to perform here? Smoke or sanity? Sanity. Now here in sprint 2 I have two functionalities. So which is my smoke testing here? Let's say that, let's not talk about the smoke testing. Which one is my sanity testing? F1 or F2?
F2.
F2 is the new functionality. Is this correct, everyone? Yes. So F2 is the new functionality. So I have two functionality here in sprint 2 that I have to test. One is F1 and one is F2. F2 is the new functionality and that is sanity testing. Now in sprint 3, how many functionalities we have? 3. Which one is falls under the sanity test?
F3.
F3. That is correct. Now let's talk about this last sprint in sprint 4. So how many functional testings we have? 4. And which one is my sanity testing?
F4.
F4. So each and every sprint, if you see, each and every sprint, you are performing sanity testing. Why is that? Because developers are developing and you are testing that. Okay. So developers are developing and you are testing that. So that is sanity testing you are performing. Now, in sprint 2, I will say you are performing sanity testing. You also have to perform the regression testing. So what is the regression testing? So whatever the testing, whatever the functionalities you tested in your previous, all your sprint, all your releases, you have to perform that. So before this sprint 2, how many sprints we have? Sprint, okay. We have only one sprint. Now in that sprint, how many functionalities I will have? Only one. Okay. So in function, when in sprint 2, we are performing the sanity testing on Act 2, we are checking that everything is fine. Then we also have to make sure that this Act 2 functionality that is now just built, just developed by the developer is not affecting my previous functionality. Previous functionality means like this one. Let's say that I develop the bestseller, and after that I develop the Amazon Basics. But when I develop the Amazon Basics, now the bestseller is not working. So I have to make sure that when the Amazon Basics are developed, the bestseller also need to work, right? Everything need to work. Whatever it's developed before, they all have to work. So in the sprint 1, the developer developed this bestseller. In sprint 2, developers developed this Amazon Basics. Now I'm here in sprint 2, which one is my sanity testing here?
Amazon Basic.
Amazon Basic is my sanity testing. And before this Amazon Basic functionality, we also have developed one more functionality. Which one is that?
Bestseller.
Bestseller. So when I perform this sanity testing on Amazon Basics, then I also have to make sure that the previous functionality that was already created is not affected, it's not failing. And the thing that I'm performing now, the testing on the bestseller again, that is regression testing. Now let's say I'm in sprint 3 now. In sprint 3, developers develop this today's deal. So which one is my functional testing? Yeah, sanity testing here.
Today's deal.
Today's deal is the sanity testing here. So which one are my regression testing here?
Bestseller and Amazon Basics, both.
That's true. So here the thing is, whatever you have already developed, unless I have to mute you because I'm getting some noise from the background. Okay, so the thing is, whatever the functionalities you developed before, that falls under the regression testing. So by the time you go like move forward, whatever you have in the backward, that all falls under regression testing. So today, whatever you are performing here as a sanity testing, tomorrow that will fall under the regression testing. So it will go sprint by sprint, release by release. So as a tester, you have to perform, if you are in a, like for example, 10th release, for example. So before the 10th release, whatever the test cases you have, whatever the testing you have performed, you have to perform all again before you release the product in release 10. And whatever the developers develop in release 10, you are performing the testing, that is sanity testing. Got it? Okay, now let's go back to this slide again. So here in sprint 3, function 3 is the new feature. We are performing the sanity testing here. So how many regression testing we have to perform here in sprint 3?
2.
2. And now we are in sprint 4. Now how many, we have only one sanity testing, so how many are here for the regression?
3.
3.
Okay, that is true. So you got the idea about the regression testing, right? Okay, that is a very good thing because in interview they might ask you what is smoke testing, what is sanity testing, what is regression testing. So you need to know these 3 kind of testing at least. Okay, now let's check this one. Whenever developers change or modify the functionality or feature, there is a huge possibility that these updates may cause unexpected behavior. So let's say this one, the developer developed this Amazon Basic. After that, this bestseller tab is there, But once the user is clicking on the bestseller, it's not going to that page. The bestseller functionality is failing. That's why we have to test that. That's why you have to test that. So regression testing is performed to make sure that a change, the new functionality or the new development additional has not broken any of the existing functionality. Existing mean that you already developed. Any question on these three or these four kind of testing? Unit testing, smoke testing, sanity testing, regression testing. There is one more, right? Unit, smoke, integration also. Integration, sanity, and regression. So these are the five. So you also need to know the integration testing. Sorry. So integration is basically to test multiple things together are working or not. Like different thing, different applications are working together or not. I don't know that if you have seen that kind of thing or not. Like, for example, if you want to pay something like any bill or anything, you have a website. Like, for example, this utility bill. For utility bill, they have a like Dominion, something like that. So when you log into that website, you can do everything, which is fine. You can see your bill, everything is fine. But when you need to pay, they will take you to the another application, another website that is not like Dominion, like that is different company. So now as a tester, you have to check that if that thing, that link is working or not. When any customer want to pay something, when they click on pay now, they have to take that customer to that application website where they can actually make that payment. And you have to do some payment like testing if that payment is working fine or not. Okay, so that is kind of like integration testing.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So looking at the sprint, the regression testing that we have discussed, that first when you get something new, you get the sanity testing and then you do the regression testing, right? So where is the smoke testing and the integration testing in each sprint?
Yes,
When is that?
yeah, that is the question I was expecting. So let's say that I have these four functionalities that already developed. And in these four functionalities, let's say that this App2 functionality is a major functionality, this App2. Let's say this App1, they just created their website. This App2 is the sign-in of the user. This App3 is like showing the product page. This App4 is a card, okay? Let's say these four functionalities we have created in this four sprint. So F2 is that the login functionality. F4 is that what is that? Card. Now tell me in these four functionalities which are like major functionalities. What do you think?
Card,
Card and then
login,
card and login. For me, card and login is kind of like a major functionality for me. So when it's come to here in sprint one, I don't have any major function. Whatever the function I have, functionality I have, I'll test it. But when it's come to the sprint two, I have to check it. That is sprint two app two. That is I'm performing the sanity testing. So this is just created. So I don't need to perform the smoke testing here. I'm performing the sanity testing. That is meaning that I'm checking that this functionality, this sign-in functionality is working or not. Now, when it comes to the sprint tree is basically putting a lot of like 100 products. So this is like I'm performing the sanity testing, but here in F1 and F2, like I have one major functionality that I have to perform, and that is F2. So here F3 is that your sanity testing, F2 your smoke testing, F1 falls under your regression testing. Now in sprint 4, what is F4 here? What kind of testing you are performing here? F4?
Smoke test.
No.
Regression testing.
No, F4, only F4.
Testing.
So this is the new functionality, the new feature that just developed here in sprint 4. That is F4. So what kind of testing you will perform here? Sanity testing.
Sanity testing.
Yes. So you're performing the sanity testing here in F4. Now this F3, does it fall under smoke testing or sanity testing?
Quality issue. Smoke
The
test.
F3 was just adding some product. The functionality. Yeah, so I have to mute Masika. So when you want to answer, just unmute yourself and then answer. Okay. Okay. So here we are here in sprint 4 now. So in sprint 4, F4 is the sanity testing. Now, is this F3 falls under a smoke test or sanity test? Any of the test?
Wasn't the F4 the cart?
F4 was the card, but F4
So
I'm
then it's
yeah,
supposed to be smoke testing, isn't it?
yeah, it's supposed to, but the thing is, this F4 I'm testing here because it just developed. So I'm testing here in this sprint 4.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sanity testing.
it's gonna be sanity testing now. Okay. All
F4
right.
will be sanity testing now. So can anyone tell me, is this F3 falls under sanity or smoke?
Sorry, what about F3?
This F3 functionality, which is basically was the like adding some extra product in the page. Is this falls under smoke or sanity test?
No.
No.
Regression, right?
Regression.
Yes, because it's not like major functionality, right? Without this functionality, my page will run. People will be able to log in. People will be able to add the card. Yes, that is like kind of like I already have some product and I am adding some product here. I'm adding some product in F3 here. That is why F3 doesn't fall under sanity test or smoke testing. Now, F2 was our sign-in functionality. Is this falls under sanity testing, smoke testing?
Yeah.
Which testing?
No,
Smoke.
F2 will be also like a regression testing because we did this one on sprint 3. We're just adding this one over here, so it will be regression. I believe so.
Okay, anyone else? Nasita, you are right. If you answered that now, then you are right, yes. So this F2 was the major functionality, right? Log into the application, it was a major functionality. Remember that?
So is it like if it's the first time it's sanity testing anyways, then after that it becomes smoke testing? Because I'm
Yes,
still confused about the F4 for that.
yes. I will create a like I will draw that and then you get the idea here. But here in sprint 4, if you go to the next release, the first screen when you are doing the testing, this card functionality will be the regression testing. Will be falls under the regression and also the smoke testing for the next release.
I see. So if it's the first time, it's sanity no matter how important it is, right?
No, because it just developed, right?
Oh, I see. Okay, I gotcha.
Okay. So I was talking about this F2. F2 was your major functionality. So F2 falls under your smoke testing. F1 was just like you develop the page. So F1 we didn't consider as like smoke testing. So here in sprint 4, we have to perform sanity testing on F4, smoke testing on F2, and regression testing in all of my previous functionality, that is F1, F2, and F3. And when we perform this regression testing, when the sanity testing is working fine, when smoke testing is working fine, then we run our regression testing. If sanity testing is failing, we don't go for the smoke or like regression testing. If the smoke testing, the sanity testing is working fine, but the smoke testing is failing, we don't go for the regression testing. Because regression testing is your like all the test cases. Right now you can just only see 4 functionality, 4 test case. But why let's say that you have like 200 test cases. In 200 test cases, you have like 10 sanity and 20 smoke test. But instead of running the sanity and smoke, what you did, you run the regression test, and it failed in one of your sanity or smoke tests. So which is like wasting your time. So what you need to do, you have to perform this sanity testing first to check if the basic, like the developed functionality is working, the current developed functionality is working fine, or fixed the issues are working fine or not. Then you have to perform the smoke testing to check the major functionalities are working or not. If these two are working fine, then you have to go for the regression test, because to run the regression test, it takes a lot of time. I just give you the idea about the 200 test case, 200 tests. Let's say that you have 1,000 tests. So how much time you gonna waste? Like if you just go for the regression directly without testing the smoke and sanity. So you got the idea why we need to perform the sanity and smoke first before going to that regression. Okay, regression is basically like whatever the previous thing, like the functionality is you have developed and that is working fine. You just need to check that previous functionality is still working as the same as expected. That's it. That was the thing. That was the reason that we need this like regression test. And in the interview, they might ask you what is the difference between smoke test and sanity test? What is a regression test? What is integration test? These are the like 3 common questions they can ask. If they ask you any kind of like example, you can give some example like this. It's fine. And these are the 2 other testing that we have to perform that also falls under functional testing. So that is system testing. So after the completion of the integration testing, so when you perform this testing, which means like you are checking the different applications are working together. When you perform that testing, then if you have more than one module, like as I said that for the integration testing, the product is passed for the system testing. System testing means that it will now will be tested like all together as like a whole, as like a system. Like before that, they are performing that this one. Are you able to go to this from this product? Are you able to add that in a card or not? That is integration between the card and your product. Now I want to do the system testing. System testing is what, like this integration is working fine. Now I will add the product, I will go to the card, and I will do the buy. I will just check out the card. So when you do the checkout, that means that you are performing the system testing. That means all the things together. System testing is undertaken by independent testers who have to play their role in development of the program. So usually we don't like follow this kind of thing. Whoever is free, they go for the system testing. The testers, usually the tester who is doing this kind of testing, they are also they're like performing the regression testing, and these things also already falls under that. So you don't need to worry about this system testing. Just tell them that if that integration testing is done, then we do the system testing. Okay. And this testing is performed in an environment that closely mirror production. So this is a one more important thing. System testing where we perform is close to your production. So production means that the place where they will perform the testing, which is look like as same like that we can see here in the Amazon. So there is a website. There is a like, let me get that one here. There will be a URL that is only be accessible from the inside the Amazon.com, inside the Amazon like domain. Domain means that this website, whoever is working in Amazon, they only be able to access this one. So what they do like this one, UAT. UAT means that user acceptance testing. So they have this kind of like URL where this will show exactly the same thing that you can see here. And this will be like something like this, uat.amazon.com. And they will see this kind of thing and they will check if everything looks good or not. And once they feel like everything looks good, they will send this same code to the production for the real user, like we can see here. Like we can just hit the amazon.com, we'll able to see this one. Now why I say that if you get this from uat.amazon.com, because I'm not a Amazon user, Amazon worker, right, Amazon employee, so I'll not be able to access this URL. This URL will be able to only accessible who have Amazon working laptop, who is an employee of that company. They are, and the person who is accessible, who is allowed to access this URL. Not everyone will be able to access this one. It's not like you work in Amazon in different project and you are able to access this one. No, you cannot. You will get the access to able to get this page in your browser. Okay, so let's go move forward to that one again, amazon.com. So this is the system testing that we perform. It's basically kind of like this, user acceptance testing. You see that one? So user acceptance testing is the last phase of the software testing process. It's almost the same thing. System testing they perform in the closely mirror to the production. This one is also mirror to the production, the UAT. In UAT, actual software application user tests the software to make sure it can handle the required task in real world scenario. So who does that? The product owner or the UAT tester. They have like different like UAT tester only to test anything in the UAT. Then the real user also sometimes perform this kind of testing. The real user means that the client. Generally, it is performed at the time of product delivery to stakeholders. So before they deliver the product, they perform the testing here in this UAT. We just saw that, right? The URL as a final checkpoint among all functional testing types. So let's say that you are making some product, right? You are making some product and you want to send somewhere that product. Now, when it's going out, that product from your factory or from your place, the guard in the gate is sitting over there to check, are you sending the exactly right amount of product? So they check something like that, right? So that is kind of like not the same example that I should give you, but this is kind of like the checkpoint. Like before you hand over your product to the client, there is a checkpoint. There is a person who will check the whole application. It's not like guard will check all the application, all the product. The product owner will check everything. Guard will just check that how many items you have. That's it. The product owner will check. The person who is responsible to send that product will check is all the products are as expected created, and is all the products are there like it's expected 200, are you sending 200? So these are the things make sure by that person. Okay, Okay, so let not go to that part today. So it's already 8:26. Let me do some like practice and let's finish it today early. Okay, so you already have this document, I believe, where you have. I didn't. Sorry, I didn't check that yet, but I will, and I believe you did that almost the same way. So it's supposed to be like test case name, then test case description, then test data, then test steps, and then pass and fail, right? Do you have this? Did you like? Is there anyone who didn't create this document yet? No, right? Okay. So now we are going to add something on this document today, and that will be your test case document. So this will be the document that you can also follow in your project. If you want, like for example, you are the first person who need to create a test case document. So you can create your own, or you can use your any template from the online. Okay, so if you understand what we did here, you'll be able to like use any template. You will be able to create your own template. Okay. Okay, first of all, so this is a test case. So if you understand that how we are writing a test, the steps for only one test case, this is like you create an account page. So let's say that I want to create one more test case to log into that system. So this is how I will create an account. Now I will create one more test case to log into that account. Okay. So what will be here, the test case name? Log into the system, right? Validation of login. Let's say this is my test case name. And what is the description? Let's say that a valid user with valid password should be able to log into the system. So this is my description. Description is like whatever you want to give, but it should be understandable. What is that one here? Okay, that should be understandable. So what kind of test data I need? I need an email address. I need an email address. Like whatever the email I have, I will use this one to log into the system. And also I need password, right? I need something like password. Password is like protected, so no one can see that. But if you want, you can, because that password will be visible for everyone, because that is a testing password, testing username, testing password. So you can use the password directly here, which is fine, because that is a test password. Everyone knows about that, so you don't need to keep that in like static. You can just write down the password here. Now what are the steps here? I have almost the same step, but here it will be something like this. So I'll just copy this one. What happened? Oh, okay, so these are all separate. Okay, let me just copy these 2, 3. Okay, now I have these 3 steps, which is very common, like open Chrome browser, go to this website, click on sign in. Now import, insert email address for login, then insert password, then click on login button. Okay, this is something like the login functionality. So is there anything that you didn't understand from this slide? Anything? No? Okay. So, and I believe like if I use this username and password, this step will pass. So I'll also just write it pass here. Okay. Let's say that we have a username and password, and which is like you can log into the system. Now we'll add some more columns here. Okay, so if you see, I have like multiple test cases. So it is better if you give a specific number for any test case. It will help you later, but it's mandatory to give the number for any test case. So this is test, let's say this is test case 1, this is test case 2. So let's create one more column before this column. Right click here on the top of this column and click insert. Let's say that test case ID. And here I will say this is my test case 1. And this is my test case 2. So this is one of the columns that we need. Now here let's add one more column before the pass and fail. This column is basically you are performing these steps. Now you have to check that is it like expected? Are you expecting the same thing or not? So expected, you have to create one more column here. It's called expected result or expected. That's it. Expected, you can just type that browser open, browser should open. That is my expectation. So browser should be open. Okay, and for any expected, you also need to keep actual. Okay, for expected, you also need actual here. In actual, is this open? The browser open? Yes, right? The browser open. So browser opened. So you have expected and you have actual. For each and every line, if there is a possibility that you need that, you have to keep that. You have to write that here, expected and actual. Let's say that this one, go to this URL, right? So I will say that in expected, this should be available, like the website should be available, right? And in actual, what I see, the website is there, right? So website is available. That's it. So you just need to make sure that whatever your expectation is, you have to keep that here, and this would be your actual. Okay, website is available. Click on sign in. Once you click on the sign in, your expectation is user should navigate to sign in page, right? Once you click on the sign in, it should navigate to the sign in page. And actual, is this happened? When you click on the sign in, did it navigate to the sign in page? Yes, right? Then you can just type here, just copy that. User is able to navigate to sign in page. So this is the way how we create expected and actual. So we learned 3 columns today. One is for each and every test case, you should give any test case number. Then after the steps, you have to check that is this expected or not. If you click on the sign in, it should take you to the sign in page. So are you in the sign in page or not? If you are in the sign in page, that means that it's done. So this step is also passed. You can go for all of them separately. You can go for all of them separately, or you can merge all of them together and say passed. You can do that as well. Okay. Now, do you have any question here on creating these 3 columns?
No, thanks.
Okay. Then let's create one more column before this test data. So before this test data, we also need the browser, this browser installed in our computer, and also this website should be live. So we can keep these two things in a precondition. So without these two things, you will not be able to perform the testing, right? So we can create another column here which says that precondition. What is precondition we need? One is browser should be installed, and second one is this Amazon automationpractice.com, this website. Let's say I'm just typing this website should be live. This is my precondition. Got it? So these are the basic things that we need to create any test case document. Now on top of that, you can add one more thing, one more that is sometimes we don't need that, but what you can do before this pass and fail, you can add, usually we add that here before the actual, but let's do that before the pass or fail. It will be easy for you to remember this uh, this Excel sheet. So we have this post condition. So this post condition is something not like you are going to use an everyday. It's something like if there is anything that you have to perform that, for example, once you log into the system, or once you click on sign in, it's opening a new window or it's opening a new tab. So that means that your old tab is no longer necessary. So you can just close that old tab. So that is kind of like post condition, but usually we don't need that usually. But that is like extra column. Okay. So what we added today here in this document, test case ID, precondition. After the test steps, we added expected and actual and post condition. If you don't want it, if you can just ignore this column as well, this post condition. Now, this is a test case document. In this test case document, you just need to add a couple of rows before this test case where you just started, just couple of. First of all, you just need to mention that which project you are working on. What is the name of the project? Just give a name here. Name of your project. Okay. Then who created this one? Author. Who created this one? You type your name. Because you are creating this document, right? So you can write your name here. Which date you created this one? Date. Which date you created? We created it today, right? 10/13/2022. So these are also some basic information that we have to put in our test case document. Sometimes they add some more information, but it depends on the project. If you at least know what you need to add before the test case document, then you're fine. Okay. So do you have any question on this thing that we added here in this document?
I have a quick question. Like whatever we are doing on in this Excel sheet, we have to do all of them in the future in Jira board, right?
Yes, we'll do that in Jira board as well. But
Yeah, I
in the
know, but I'm just asking. Yeah.
yeah, we'll do that in Jira
Thanks.
board. And in the real project, you might you might need to write your test cases in Excel sheet, or you might need to write that in Jira. So right now we are creating an Excel sheet, and then we will write our test cases in Jira as well.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. So you got the idea. So if you're comfortable, then you can also add this thing in your current document and you can submit it again. I will check that both like previous and new, both submissions. So just you can add that. It's like a very small thing that you need to do. Just add like 4 columns in your document and these 3 rows. You got it, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So that's mean that you don't have any question, and I believe you understood all the testing that we perform in our real projects. So today we are going to finish it early, like now. It's almost like the same time, but it's now. Uh, so do you have any? If you have any question, you can stay in the meeting. We'll talk after this. People will drop. If you don't, then you can drop. Yeah, homework. So I will send out the homework tomorrow based on the things that we cover. Any other question? Okay, so thank you all. Thank you for joining, and I'm sorry that I'm closing this session early today. I'm sorry, I apologize for that. We really don't need to buy any book for Java or anything. Whatever the things we are doing here, uh, it will be help. It will help you to create your own document. It will help you to understand the things that we are doing. Yes, thank you all. And one more thing, that for the Java, in the Java class, we will not follow any slide. We will not do any slide. We'll do some. We'll do always. We'll do the practice. So you don't need to follow any books or anything. And the way we'll do the Java, it will be like enough for you to write the script. We are not going to learn the Java for the development purpose, only the testing purpose. So whatever the things we will learn in Java, you will be able to create any automation script. Yeah, thank you, Beauty. Thank you, Safrin. Thank you, Nasita. Thank you, Onik. Thank you, Safrin again. Yeah, and thank you, Mizan. Okay, so we'll see again on Tuesday then, next week.